Okay, I started the
there we go.
recording
Okay,
again.
got
I don't
it.
know.
Got it.
Got it.
Oh,
So,
craziness.
anyway, I'm glad we all are here. I just dropped in to say hello and to see if the meeting was happening, and then I ended it 2 or 3 times.
It's like when you were at the men's knitting retreat.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you all know what a proficient Zoomer I am now, so you know to just keep trying to come back.
Right.
Oh,
You're
God.
having a
That's
solipsism
funny.
problem where we stop existing when you don't look at us.
Yes.
Which knitting retreats do you guys go to?
I go to the men's knitting retreat, which occurs in various places all over the country.
There's one up in Eastern New York. Do you ever?
That's
attend
right.
that?
I haven't made it to that one. I'd love to make it to that one.
Yeah,
I get shut out every
wanna-
time.
Every time I want to go, it's either full or it's too many.
Yeah,
There's
yes.
they only get like 40 guys.
And then there's one in Colorado that I was going to go to, but I got shut out of that one.
Yeah.
There was one in Seattle that I did get to, and they're really great. I did do
Yeah.
the one in Colorado before the pandemic.
All
They're
right.
really fun. It's a good group of people.
I still think we need to do a Phrancko one.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Have a Phrancko retreat.
We'll just start a committee and then tell Frank about it once we've got.
Yes,
That's right. Once you've
got
got it
that's
in
what I
place.
need you to do. Right.
But-
Invite me to
we'll
come
have
to it.
Yeah, we'll invite
After
you as
it's
a
all
guest
planned.
speaker.
Now that we got cut off, Cindy, how many swatches do you have to make for the first section?
For
Is it-
level 1, I think it's 18. Let me look and see. Yes,
That sounds right to me.
Yeah.
it's 18, and then you have to do a project, which is a mitten, and I've not started that yet.
All right.
But I'm on swatch 8 right now, and you have
Okay.
to do research for every technique that you use in all the different swatches and record that. And then you have to have research to answer your questions. And so there was a lot of organizing and doing. It was stuff that I was somewhat familiar with from doing the boot camp and doing basics and all that, but having to write it down, it's been too long since I was in college.
That's how I felt. And you also have to do a 3 to 5 page blocking report on what is blocking. Don't forget to put in the first paragraph, say what blocking is. That's the most common mistake, by the way.
I had that one. You didn't even tell me that. And I had that one in mind, and I thought I was so smart because I put that.
Yes, so many people just say, well, blocking is important because you need to have it do this and this and this, but they never say what blocking is. And if the person is, you're supposed to write it as though you're writing it for somebody who's never heard of blocking before.
Oh, that's funny.
So a crocheter on Facebook.
Yes,
That's
that would be
right.
good.
Yeah.
They get a little bit hostile about it in my crafting groups, I found.
Really?
Yeah. Have you considered blocking it? No.
Hey, we got blocked out.
Hey, I'm sorry I asked.
Blocking
make
is
a
what I
swatch?
just did to
No!
you all in Zoom.
That's right. That's right. That's why we don't like it.
Oh, God.
Oh,
Was Jenny here before?
No.
No,
Oh, we
she
didn't
said
see Jenny.
she said last week that she wouldn't be here this week,
Oh,
but she'll be
okay.
there next week.
That's right.
Well, I didn't know I'd be able to make it at all. And it's
There we go.
because I am now in Vegas. And you know
Gambling.
about Vegas, whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yeah.
right.
But it's
But
not a
actually-
new
I'll leak something out. I did a helicopter ride from Vegas
Oh,
past the Hoover Dam to the Grand Canyon. And we
Oh.
landed on top of the Grand Canyon and went out on the skywalk. And it was just, and then took the helicopter all the way back to Vegas. And I didn't think we'd get back in time for me.
Wow.
That's cool.
What a
It was
wonderful trip.
awesome. It
I was just
the most
wondering what's
wonderful-
behind that curtain.
um, It's a hotel room. You
Sunshine.
can't see anything. It's just another hotel across
Sunshine.
the street.
Uh,
Well, that sounds like a wonderful trip.
Yeah.
It was really great. I'd never done anything like that before, and I'd never seen the Grand Canyon before.
Really?
And
It's
I
really
decided
beautiful.
that this was the perfect way to see it because you didn't have to travel there by bus or train or however you get to the Grand Canyon. And you didn't have to stay overnight before and after. And you got to see it. And once you've seen it, you've seen it. And it's like,
And
okay,
then you've
I've
done
seen
it. Yeah.
Now
I
I've
find
seen
the
it.
little train from Williams to be mortifying. And they
Yeah.
do the little like fake stagecoach robbery, and the little actors come in. I'm just like
Oh, no.
paralyzed with embarrassment when that happens. Like, I know this is a paycheck for you, and you're pretending to be a bank robber. I'm trying to read. I'm just going to the Grand Canyon, and please
Leave me
stop
alone.
pretending to rob me. Just like, I wish I could put myself on Do Not Disturb. And maybe it's from like a life of performance. I imagine being in that kind of situation and get such secondhand embarrassment. I don't know. But I do like the Grand Canyon. It's very pretty, but that train is like stomach cramps on rails for me. So helicopter, maybe, yeah. Just some Dramamine and no stagecoaches.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. So enough about Vegas. How's the knitting coming?
Kathy was talking first when I first came in. So why don't you tell them about your shaping? You were telling about waist shaping.
Oh, me?
Kathy
Yes.
was telling
Oh,
about waist
Kathy,
shaping
I'm
first.
sorry.
But
I'm sorry.
Judith was telling about what
Wait.
she was doing too.
No,
She's doing
yeah,
waist shaping also. So.
yeah, that's why. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just got the waist shaping done, Frank, on KnitWiz. So it's
Oh,
working now.
well, good.
So yeah. And so I'm working on Carolyn's sweater, and I'm going to use waist shaping. But I made a mistake on the collar. So that's what I was kvetching about. I have to unravel about 3 hours worth of knitting. Not happy. So I'm doing something simple right at the moment.
Well, that's good.
Anyway, that's my day.
Judith also did a lot of unraveling, we heard.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Uh-oh, what happened,
I-
Judy?
No, it's okay. It's not a problem with the pattern. I finished the sweater and I wasn't happy with the fact that I chose not to make waist shaping, and the
Oh.
sleeves are fitted and it didn't look quite okay. So I decided to rip it up to the bust almost and add some shaping. So
I
that's what
see.
I'm doing. But the sleeves, the
Shoulders?
shoulders
yeah.
and armhole
Uh-huh.
are fitting.
When you
quite
say the
nicely.
sleeve is fitted, is it too tight?
No.
No?
No.
Oh,
No, it's like I wanted it to be. I don't want to wear it with a t-shirt or something underneath, so it's quite okay.
oh, good.
I want the wool on my skin.
Yeah, she was saying how she really, really did enjoy how well the shoulders and
Yeah.
all that through the armhole and everything fitted. And
Yeah,
that
it's
was
quite
really good.
comfortable.
But she just wanted a little less ease in the body. It wasn't that it didn't do what she chose. As she got it done, she decided she wanted a little bit more fitted through the body.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well,
Good. I'm glad Kathy can tell you how to do that because I can't.
Hey, Frank, something occurred to me that might be helpful for people. Read your website if you'd like.
Of course. What's that?
You might put fraction to decimal conversions on your measurement where you put in the length and width measurement of the swatch, just for people who don't have those committed to memory.
Oh, you mean just put a chart, like
Yeah, an
say
eighth of an inch
an
equals.
eighth of an inch is 0.125 and so
Yeah.
forth.
For people who aren't constantly doing that calculation in their head.
Yeah.
There's just a few of us that know that now. It took
Yeah.
me all this time to learn it, and now you're going to have him add it for everyone. I don't think this is right.
Well, I think
It's
that's a
not fair.
really good idea.
Everyone else missed that day of fourth grade. Everyone always
right.
missed that day of fourth grade. None of us know how to do it natively.
Well, I only know because I have, you see that little board here. I have a little 3x5 card that says it all for me. So that
Good.
when I'm inputting
Yeah.
measure, I just take that and put it here so that I can do it.
Why do I keep forgetting how many tablespoons are in a cup? And why in
16.
the world am I using tablespoons and cups?
Right.
Why am I not weighing my flour?
Well,
remember
you guys
somebody-
know much better when you do.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember somebody once complained, why are you putting 3 decimal places? Who measures to 1/1000th of an inch, which is what that is? And I said, no, it's not 1/1000th. That's so you can enter an eighth of an inch. The last one would be a 5. It's either 0 or 5. It's not
Yeah.
0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And that
Thousands.
occurred to me when I was making this pattern in there, and I was just like, I bet there are people who are frantically looking for their calculator or getting frustrated because they have to do long division or something.
Right. Wow. Well, that's a really good suggestion. I think I'll
It was free.
at some point when I get a chance.
And just like, it's a string as opposed to, can you recalculate your entire pattern
Right.
for me? I'd like a deeper collar.
I've already done that.
You have
want it
asked
yet
for stuff
deeper.
like that, Ron. You have
I want it
asked
to
for
look like a
stuff like
wrestling
that.
singlet.
You want to what?
I said I want it to look like a
Wrestling
wrestling
singlet.
but I'm on my own then. I can figure that out myself. Though.
You're the only one that wants to make one of those.
I wouldn't want to wear it, but a knitted wrestling singlet could be cute on someone else.
So David, how are you coming?
I told the group I've watched too many bind off.
I still find it funny.
And I keep getting to a certain point, and then I realize I don't know what I'm doing, and I've made a mistake again. I did get the mantra of knit, purl, purl, knit down. I think what I have to do is create a swatch in the round in order to do it, because a flat, I'm trying to learn just the basic with a flat swatch, and that.
It just didn't work, huh?
Well, and I don't know what I'm doing exactly, but I still have a lot more to go on this before I get there. So
I see.
I'm
But he's
okay.
making progress. It's getting
Well,
longer.
David, it isn't terrible to use a different bind off.
Right.
If
You
you
could
want to
just
use
bind
the
off and
standard bind off, it will actually be fine. This is just like taking what is good and making it perfect. That's, if you want to do that, that's fine, but don't feel like you have to do it if it's too much of a problem.
Well, I'd like to learn the process
Yeah.
ultimately. So this is a learning thing. I was delighted that the shoulders, I finally was able to put it on,
Uh-huh.
and the shoulders fit just fine.
Perfect. Great.
It
my
feels
gosh.
just a little, and I'm not sure what I did in the measurement as far as ease is concerned on my pattern. It felt just a little snug, but that may be pandemic weight since I was measured.
Well, I can tell
Speak
you.
for yourself. Speak.
If-
None of us, the rest of us, have that.
Yeah.
Yes, right. If you can tell me what size, what fit you're making, is it standard or is it
Yes.
roomy or is it something else?
It's standard.
So then you've got 2 inches of ease. That's what standard is.
So that's built in.
That's built in, 2 inches of ease. And if you look at the bottom of the last page of your pattern, you'll see what you put in as your chest size.
Okay.
And it should be 2 inches less than what you get for your sweater. If you look at the schematic of your sweater, of course, it doesn't give the circumference, it gives you the width. So you have to multiply it times 2. But that would be 2 times what your chest size was.
Okay. Okay. What I see is chest circumference 40.
Okay, that's what you entered at the bottom. And
Yeah.
now if you go back up to the schematic,
Yeah.
what's the width of the hold on just a second.
Okay, if we
Yeah.
lose everybody, it's thundering and lightning here, so.
All right.
I'm back. I was gonna say, if you look at the schematic, you'll see that your sweater is 20 inches wide, no, 21 inches wide.
Yes.
So that 21 doubled is 42, and there's
Yeah.
your 2 inches of ease over your 40-inch chest.
Okay. We're good. We're good then.
Can we talk a little bit more about ease? Because, so Kathy, in your program is ease by the inch or a percentage system? You're muted.
Ease is whatever you want, how many inches you want.
In
or
inches?
centimeters. Yeah. Yeah. So however you want to, I mean, I basically started with the definitions from the Craft Yarn Council and,
Sure.
but there's a little slider and you can change the ease.
Yeah.
And then you can
So-
change in the design as well.
I
Whoops.
ease
Uh-oh.
systems.
Uh-oh.
You froze,
You're
Ron.
freezing.
Start over.
Okay, now you're back.
Am I okay?
Yeah.
You're okay.
Yeah.
You're
I'm
okay.
frozen. Now my internet
No,
is
now you're not
doing something.
frozen. You're okay.
I appreciate when ease is calculated by percentage simply on the basis of being fat, because I mean, really, because 2 inches of positive ease on a person with a 38-inch chest is very different from 2 inches of positive ease on someone with a 51-inch chest.
That's true.
Ron, this is a surprising fact.
Uh-huh.
It is not different. The way the math works, and a computer scientist that I used to work with told me this.
Uh-huh.
He said, if you had a band that was fit just to the surface of the earth and it went all the way around the earth,
Yes.
and you then added 12 inches, 1 foot,
Now he's
that band,
frozen.
how
I
far
think my
off of
response
the
to this
surface?
is going to be presuming the earth is a perfect sphere.
Yeah, if it's a perfect sphere, no, whatever. And if you add 12 inches to it, the distance that raises above the surface of the earth is the same as if you had a measure around your chest and added 12 inches to it. The amount
Yes.
that it raises above your chest, it would be the same whether it's around the earth or just around your chest.
That is
And that's
true.
because of
but,
the math.
but how that would look on the earth versus my body would be
Exactly.
very different.
Well,
It's an optical
that's telling me
illusion.
what you want is a looser ease.
Yeah, generally. But,
So-
but a 2-inch ease on a small body.
So Ron, when I said you add the ease on the design,
Yeah.
so you can add whatever. So let's say you're designing with a medium figure and you add
Yeah.
3 inches of ease. But when you are have a 50-inch chest or something, you will get a little more ease because it is a percentage in that regard. But it's
Oh, I
not
see.
very much, but it's
Yeah.
enough to make that optical illusion of, you know, how big or small is something on you. It works out proportionally.
But I know enough to do that. Like when I made the sweater for my dad or the one for Skinny Parent, I just do the standard ease. When I make them for myself or my mother, I do roomy at least,
Me too, because I'm bigger too.
whichever one.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to,
Yeah. So it's
I don't know,
different when
pick your
you're,
brains about what you think about ease, I guess. I mean, like
it's
making the
different when you're
decisions about the
designing.
sizes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
different when you're designing and versus
Multiple.
actually knitting the pattern, because you know anybody could be, if you're selling a pattern, you want to make sure that the ease is proportional. But you know our bodies really aren't that different, even between 20 inches around and 50 inches around. The change in ease is not much. Maybe
I
half.
find it matters most in terms of the look, the style of a sweater in the arms more than the body, certainly.
Mm.
Yep. Yeah. I
That
agree with
like
that.
completely changes the look of
Yeah.
a piece. But no, I'm just interested in how people approach the thought of calculating and including
Well,
ease.
it's my favorite subject.
Yeah,
I get very excited talking about it.
yeah.
Well, it's been really interesting for me doing the different Phrancko sweaters for all the different grandkids of different ages and sizes.
Mhm.
And they each, we measured them and whatever, but then I also took measurements from a garment that they had that they really liked.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, okay, how does this one more fit through the chest or through the arms or whatever? And did some stuff of choosing the ease based on that so that it had that fit for what they liked.
Yeah. Because at a certain point, fit is, or ease is less about the construction of the sweater and more about it's like how you want to wear it and the visual style of the finished garment
And that was
either
it,
a
yeah.
primary or a
Mhm.
secondary degree to turn depending on what your goals are. I just don't like things clinging that close to my skin, but some people like tight fitted garments or oversized garments. And
Yeah. Because like Katie, for hers that she wears to work with the horses all the time and to teach lessons and to boost kids and everything, she really wanted it a lot longer, and she wanted it a lot longer and in the arms and stuff too, so that when she's stretching and reaching, she's not having gaps and area where she's not covered.
Mm. Yeah, I wonder, you know, this is something I put in the program after Stitches West, because I put in so that a designer, let's say you're designing something and you want to sell the pattern, and you have the option of letting the wearer choose the amount of ease they want. But I really wonder how many designers would actually want that, because it was one of Andrea Mowry's patterns, and several people came over to the booth and said, I like it, but I don't want 13 inches of ease on this boxy sweater. You know, and so I thought, yeah, you know, that's a good point. A designer could say, okay, well, I want to change the ease on a person wants to change the ease on my sweater. You should, you know, but I bet you most designers wouldn't want that.
No, probably not. And I think the reason it was on my mind is because I've been working through the TKGA's designer certification.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
with
what's her name?
Yeah, with what's her name? Donna Eston.
Yes.
And
it's great, but some of the questions like regarding things like something with a motif on the back or something that's meant to be like a loose fitting sweater that you're designing for sizes extra small through 5X. What are you going to do? How are you going to approach that design problem if you're submitting to a magazine or a publication or something that particularly wants something sized from an extra small to a 5X?
Yeah.
And for something like a big motif on the back, I don't know. It's going to be the entire body for the extra small, and the 5X is going to have a doily on their back right in the middle.
Yeah, it's gonna look different on the two sweaters if the motif is the same size.
Yeah.
It's also, the sweater that I'm doing right now has a cable that starts on both sides of the neck and comes, as you know, I'll show it to you in a minute.
Yeah.
But
Did
it
it go in
turns
the
out that
helicopter?
the cable, for the small size, the cable is the full width of the shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's more and more stockinette on the outer edges of it, the larger the size gets, because the
Yeah.
cable is the same width for all sizes. So it's
Yeah.
actually going to look different for a small size sweater, a little bit than
Yeah.
for the 2XL.
There are interesting questions or just like discussion points in the materials about things like sweaters. If you have a sweater with cables that are meeting and you want it to meet in the same place on every size,
Yes.
how do you do it? If you always want it to be at the solar plexus, but it starts way out here on my size and then like 3 inches closer on a small.
Yeah.
So I've been kind of percolating on those things like in the shower.
So Walter, we haven't heard from you. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I did the baby sweater and I liked it, and I haven't blocked it yet, but then I started doing this one and I liked it better because it was thicker wool.
Uh-huh.
See?
Oh, look at that. Look how far you got.
See?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, see?
You're
The
fast,
The
Walter.
questions I have is on starting the collars, or well, when you start, how come you don't do a provisional on there?
That's a good question. And the reason is this seam or
Okay.
faux seam across the shoulders is
Mhm.
actually a structural part of the sweater.
Right.
If it was a provisional one, it would just be stockinette over the shoulder and it would tend to stretch
Okay.
down your arm. So then the sleeves would be off your shoulders.
All right.
So the weight of
other-
the sleeve would pull the shoulder
Yeah,
apart.
I see
And
how
that,
you
and
mentioned
that technique, whether it's a seam or a cast on and pickup like I do, that is a set length and doesn't stretch. And
All
so
right.
it doesn't do that.
Okay. And then when you do the collar, you have a crocheted cast on.
No, the
No?
crochet cast on is for the underarm only.
Right. So on the collar, what I did is I did a back loop cast on.
No, I don't cast on for the collar. What do you mean?
Well, when you go across to
Oh,
connect.
when you
Right.
you don't mean the neckline itself. You mean when you're shaping
Okay.
the
Right.
body?
Exactly.
I use the chained what is it
Cast
called?
on.
Cable.
ca-
Cable.
Yeah.
Cable cast on,
Okay.
because it's also got structure,
Okay.
and the collar won't tend to stretch apart
Stretch out.
as much.
That was the only two questions I had. I just didn't, because
Uh-huh.
like when you're going backwards to do this, the seam, it's very awkward for me. You're going backwards, really.
Mhm.
And I'm going, how the hell do I do this? So I
It's
ended
just
what I
for a
ended
little
up-
bit. It's just
Yes,
for a
what
little
I ended
bit.
up doing is I crocheted, I put the crochet hook in it and made the loops, and then I went across.
So
And that was
you
better
so
for
you
me.
did do a provisional cast on. So,
Basically,
yeah.
well, what I did is I picked up the stitches with a crochet hook because I couldn't do it with the knitting needles.
Oh, well, that's not the
Mhm.
same thing.
Yeah.
That's
You
not a
did a regular
provisional.
cast on for one direction,
Right,
a standard cast on, and then you just used a crochet hook to pick up the others.
right.
That's a perfectly
stitches.
valid
That's
way to
fine.
pick those
Mhm.
up.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I was
No
going
difference.
nuts. I'm saying, I don't know why I can't manipulate my fingers to do this. So,
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of hard too. I almost
Yeah.
resorted to a crochet hook.
Yeah.
So also,
I
Ron,
think
Try
I
and
have a
do it
Only
question.
pick
4
up
or
with the
5
crochet
times, you
hook.
can do it.
Right,
It may
Ron-
depend on the yarn you use and how defined it is, or I don't know what it depends on. I think there's been at least one sweater where I resorted to a crochet hook, but I don't find it difficult for most sweaters. So I don't know if it's just that I've
I
learned to
know,
do it
watching your
better, or-
videos, it looks like you just do it like it's nothing. I'm going, how does he do that backwards so quickly? You know,
He
Yeah.
speeds up the video.
Oh, I do speed up
You
videos.
speed
Yes. I try to make it obvious where it's speeded up, but I don't know if I speeded up that one.
But other than
So-
that, I love the way that it shapes out. It's really nice.
Well, good. I'm glad you like it.
Let me go and get the little baby one.
Okay, and I'm going to go get my sweater, and you'll see how much progress I've made.
Good.
We'll all wait here.
And hopefully we won't get lost or kicked out.
If we all just hold still and pretend the meeting froze while he was away.
Okay.
Here's the
We have to
baby
be
one.
quiet though, too.
There's the baby one.
Cute.
Oh, wait, let me pin you so I can get it large screen. Spotlight. There you go.
There we go.
Oh,
Hold
that
it
turned
still.
out nice.
Yes.
I think the arms are a little long, but I
Yeah, they
figured that-
probably are.
yeah,
I don't
But
know
then-
that it fits any baby. I
it'll fit
really
any
don't.
baby. And I did the regular bind off because, you know, he might get longer and I'll just have to, you know, they can give it back to me
Yes.
so I can stretch it out. But I loved it. I thought it was a cool idea.
Nice.
I have to tell real quick, my grandkids had their Santa, the 4 oldest had the Santa picture this week. And they had their picture taken and they were trying to figure out what to wear. And so they all wore their sweaters that I knit for them.
Aw.
So it was
isn't
really
that
cool. It
Wonderful.
was really, really fun.
Can you send me that picture? Would they
Sure
mind?
can.
Yeah.
No,
I'd
that
love
would
to
be
post
fun.
that
Yeah, I can
picture.
send you. Yeah, no,
Maybe
it was
in the
really
next
cool.
newsletter.
Okay. But it was so fun. It was like, oh my gosh, I knitted all those sweaters.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm gonna spotlight myself now.
Let's see that.
And now you can see what I've done with this.
Oh
Wow.
my goodness.
Wow.
Look at
That
that.
is
Cool.
very amazing cabling, Frank.
I'm gonna get those.
You like the
threads out.
cable, don't you,
I
Frank?
love cables.
I
yeah.
see that.
They're so much fun, and there's everybody goes ooh and ah over the cables, and they're
Mhm,
really
mhm.
not that hard.
And
It's
you
a
do
lot
them without a
easier than-
cable needle.
Yes, I do them without a cable needle.
Yeah, I
Mm.
watched that video. I was impressed.
And
Yours are
here-
so
here is the
3D
back.
and squishy.
here's the
Oh,
back,
look at that.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
and
my
the back
God.
is not going to be a cable all the way down the back. You can't quite see it yet, but it actually ends there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then, it's when I block it, it'll be flatter. But
Mhm.
anyway, that's the back, and the
That's
front is
cool.
going to have this cable
Nice.
all the way down the front.
What do you
That
do with
gold
the
color is
hemline?
just beautiful.
What's that?
What is your plan for the hemline?
Oh, I'm going to work this cable into the hemline. Yes. Is that what you mean? Into the ribbing?
Well, I just mean, are you doing it? You're putting ribbing at the bottom with that in the,
Yeah, there will be ribbing at the bottom, but this cable will,
will continue.
using Suzanne Bryan's technique, I will design a cable pattern that continues this cable through the ribbing, while the rest of the ribbing is either 1 by 1, or maybe it'll be 3 by 3, because that's what the cable is.
Hmm.
But anyway, that
Yeah.
I was
Very
really
nice.
pleased this week when I finished this, got down to the sleeve.
It just
Oh,
has like such
preparation.
a late 60s tunic vibe. I would put a split hem on that in a second.
A split hem. What?
Oh,
What's a
yeah.
split hem?
I know what you're talking about, Ron.
Don't you think so?
What is a split hem?
Split-
Only
Him.
you would
In the
do that.
sides?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a split hem where the front of the hem and the back of the hem are knit as separate pieces of fabric. So there's a
V.
Split.
Just at just for the
it
last
just has
like
that sort
couple
of
inches or
tunic
whatever.
look with those cables. And my mind was just like, you wear that at Woodstock. I don't know. I think the cables look great.
Mm-hmm.
and they are impressive to look at. And that's one of the like sort of fun things about a lot of knitting techniques for people who either don't know knitting or haven't had that experience. So there are a lot of things that look very, very challenging, but really it's just sort of bookkeeping. Once you get the muscle memory down, where on the chart am I? And then it does
Yes.
itself. Maybe it doesn't do itself. But.
Ron,
Yes.
you're crocheting with your yarn in your left hand.
No, I've been flipped. I'm crochet. Oh, whoa, yes. My yarn is.
So how come you don't continental?
I don't.
I know.
I don't. I learned tensioning in my right hand.
All right.
I can knit continental. I can do several different methods of tensioning in my left hand.
Right.
I'm comfortable with them, but I've been doing it for the longest. I'm speediest with it. My tension is best with it.
All right.
But
And
I spend
hey,
a lot of
Ron,
time.
isn't it true that when you crochet, you just naturally hold the yarn in your left hand?
Yeah.
That's how I
always.
was taught to crochet.
Right.
Although
The needle
in
in
this
your right.
method, I can also throw
Really? Wow.
to
Yeah.
Never seen
Tunisian
anybody do
crochet
that.
because it is very much like knitting,
Wow.
Yeah.
but it's easy with the hook to get it in my left hand.
Yeah.
But it also means my crochet tension is a lot looser than my knit tension. Just because of the way I tension in my left hand versus my right hand. When I'm doing
Right.
like color work, I have to be very careful because my left hand tension is looser
Yeah.
than my right hand tension, which is very tight. But I spend a lot of time practicing every way to hold my yarn that I possibly can, so that when someone comes in and thinks they're the only person in the world who knits that way, I'll be able
Right.
to help them.
Right.
And there are
I
a
mean,
lot of people who are convinced that the way they knit is like a complete aberration. I spend a lot of time saying, no, I swear to you, I've seen at least 5 other people that knit that way. You are not the first person.
No.
This is just how I learned.
Yeah.
But I learned to knit with tensioning in my right hand. And so I'm most comfortable with it. So I keep it up.
I know when I continental, the stitches are looser. So I have to go down like 2 or 3 needle sizes just to get it to the gauge. But when I throw, it's tighter. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's the same experience I have.
Yeah.
Now
So
for some people, it's the complete reverse. Some people's right hand tension is completely untidy, and that's why they knit continental. So
during the pandemic, we did all these weird things to our knitting while we had something else to accomplish. So.
Well, guys, it's that time again. So
Yeah.
3:30. So
where are you taking the helicopter today, Frank? Go.
that's all done.
Okay. Well, then
We
have
go
a
back
nice
home
time.
tomorrow. So,
Sounds like a wonderful trip.
Via hovercraft.
it is.
Yes.
It was, a hovercraft to San Francisco.
All right.
Great.
Well,
Via
I'm glad I got to
Alcatraz.
see you all this
Everybody.
week. I didn't know.
All
I
right.
Have
was
a nice week.
was
Okay.
really
Bye.
good to see
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye, Judith. Bye, Kathy.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Cindy.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Ron.
Bye-bye.